Hi there, Sherry Schreiber of GettingBetter.com with yet another bathrobe monologue for you. This was inspired today by a follower of mine who sent me a little something in a tweet. Uh, it's sort of doing a comparison and contrast between narcissists and empaths. Now, if you don't know what an empath is, it's somebody who goes through life um, absorbing other people's pain. When they pass you on the street, they can feel what you're feeling. Okay. Now, I was able to do this in my work with clients, but it wasn't something that I lived with day to day, 24/7. An empath is spelled Empath, is somebody who has no, in a sense, container of their own. They have no skin holding them in. It's like everybody they're exposed to, they absorb their emotional state. I'm presuming good, better, and different. So, like the borderline, if you will, the empath has no container, no epidermis protecting them, shielding them from absorbing other people's emotional energies. So is an empath healthy? Are they whole, healthy human beings? In my view, they are not. Because if this is what's going through life and they have no boundary for themselves, no skin, if you will, holding them in, no container that protects them from picking up on and being ultra sensitive to other people's emotions, they are not a healthy individual. Now, when I went back to school, I had a girlfriend who I just adored. She was brilliant, and we were very close, I thought, for a long time, about 13 years. And she was as close to an empath as I have ever known personally. Oh, she would agonize for her patients, her clients. She was an MFT therapist, marriage and family therapist. And she would take this stuff home with her at night. Well, she had a home office, so she worked with people in her home, as I did for many years. But, this is the kind of therapist who absorbs her client's pain to the extent that in effect, she's climbing into that deep, dark, painful hole in the road with them. Now, when a therapist climbs into that hole in the road with you, let's say they are, for the sake of simplicity, let's call them overly empathic. And they're in that, they're climbing into that hole with you. They're feeling your pain. They're experiencing your pain. And I was able to do this too, but I had a healthy filter. I could practice detachment with my clients. Somebody who's truly empathic can't practice detachment. They have to go through rituals to shield themselves from absorbing other people's pain as they just walk down the friggin' street. Okay? So this colleague of mine, longtime friend, couldn't separate herself from her client's pain. This was not useful to notorious for keeping her clients in treatment for decades. Decades. She saw herself, I think, as I did at the very start of my therapeutic career as a marriage and family therapist intern. She saw herself as is as this entity that if I just mother these people well enough, they will recover. They will get well. I can heal them. That's horseshit. You can't do that. I tried that in the beginning of my career. Doesn't work. Yes, you have to be empathic. Yes, you have to be empathically attuned to your clients. Yes, you have to allow them to understand that you recognize and can appreciate and can relate to their pain. But that doesn't mean climbing in the hole with them. It doesn't mean lying in bed at night thinking about them and worrying about them and having that intrude upon your personal life. It doesn't mean that at all. And anybody who does that, who's working in the psychotherapeutic world, shouldn't be doing that kind of work, in my view. Because you can't be objective enough to actually help these people. You can't. But this is just my opinion. Now, back to the narcissist versus empath. Narcissists in this tweet were called weak. Yes, they are weak. And they compensate a lot for that weakness with grandiosity, with fixing, rescuing, doing for others to try and win people over and get them to think of them favorably. Narcissists have no boundaries. They can't discern when they have a need. They do not relate to their own pain at all. So they have no empathy. Because if you can't connect with and relate to your own pain and give yourself sympathy and compassion, you certainly can't empathize with anyone else's. Empathy is the ability to relate and identify with someone else's experiences, needs, agony, pain. Narcissists can't do that. They're so sealed off from their own discomfort, from their own pain, from their own emptiness. They have no empathy. Oh, they've got plenty of sympathy. But these are two different animals we're talking about. Sympathy is different from empathy. Sympathy is the ability to feel sorry for another. A dog, a sick person, a crippled person. We can feel sorry for those people. But we cannot empathize with them because a narcissist is divorced completely from any compassion or sympathy for the self. And if you can't have compassion and sympathy for the self, you cannot empathize with anyone else. Period. So the empath is really more like the borderline in that they have no skin holding them in, no boundaries, no real sense of self. They're just constantly absorbing other people's energies and pain. Is one healthier than the other? Hell no. Would you be a healthy person if you walked down the street, you were absorbing the sadness, the depression, the energy of everyone you encounter, even behind closed doors on that street? That is not a healthy person. And it was implied in this tweet that empaths, while narcissists are weak, empaths are strong. It was implied. And they go about then saving the world. Empaths can't save anybody because they can't save themselves from pain. So I want to caution you, okay, about swallowing hook, line, and sinker everything you read on the fucking internet. Okay, don't ever do this. Even my stuff. If you read something on gettingbetter.com and it makes a lot of sense to you, it helps you connect the dots in your mind's eye on a particular issue, well, maybe you'll integrate that. Maybe you'll carry that wisdom with you lifelong. Maybe you can closely relate to that I'm putting forth or saying in these videos. If it makes sense to you, if it hits home with you, integrate it. Let that be added to your wisdom vault, okay? But if you come across something in my article that, you know, makes the LP stop playing, represents like a scratch in the record, and you go, oh, no, that doesn't make sense. That's a bunch of hogwash. Don't accept it. Reject it. That's okay. I read a plethora of self-help books as a young woman. I mean, I was devouring those things right and left, because I needed some kind of roadmap for my life, and I certainly didn't get that from my parental units. I mean, I got good advice from my dad from time to time, but I didn't have a good roadmap to help me learn about life and about love, or even finances. I didn't. So I read a plethora of self-help books, including The Road Less Traveled and books like that. And I gained a little, I took what was salient to me, what I could relate to, and I discarded the rest. And with my attention span, I never read a self-help book cover to cover. And I think that's okay. I just opened to a page and read what was there. I even write about this technique in my new book, Do You Love to Be Needed or Need to Be Loved? I write about this technique. Open to a page, read what's there, and 9 times out of 10, it'll be very prudent and salient to what you need to learn that day or absorb. But with my attention span, I did read novels cover to cover, and I read a lot of them. But I'd always keep 3 to 5 books going at the same time. And when one got a little slow or boring or I lost interest, I pick up another one and I go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. How I kept all those stories straight, I have no idea, but I could do it. So the empath is no healthier than the narcissist. They are both, yes, it said in the tweet, they are both core damaged, deeply, deeply core damaged. But this is why borderlines and narcissists are drawn to each other. They're just inextricably drawn to each other and cling to each other because they suffer from exactly the same core trauma injuries in infancy with their birth mothers. So don't be an empath. This is nothing to strive for. Be empathic, yes. Be empathetic to other people's suffering. But first, you better get in touch with your own and stop shaming yourself for feeling bad, or feeling down, or feeling empty, or feeling sad. Stop shaming yourself for that. These are normal, natural, human emotions. We all have them at one time or another. And it's really important that you come to a place of acceptance and grace about that. Otherwise, there's no way you can ever begin to respect and like yourself. And that's really essential in this lifetime. If you're going to start forming healthy attachments with other people and be able to discern whether they are healthy enough to dance with you, you've got to first like and respect you, form a nourishing, healthy, friendly relationship bond with you. And if you don't do that, you're going to be a needy person who goes through the rest of your life attaching to all kinds of people that will initially positively mirror you, but then drop you on your head, just like the borderline will. Okay? All right. Happy Sunday to you, and bye for now.